Hey, what's up, guys? It's Corey here with Dapper Dollars, and today we're going to talk about what to do with your merch money and how I'm personally investing my merch money to create financial freedom for myself and my family in the future. You ready? Let's get started. Now, before we get into this, remember to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into why this channel was started in the first place, which is to create financial success and freedom for you and for your families in the future. That is the whole purpose for this channel, and I really genuinely hope that you and everyone you know who's in Merch by Amazon takes advantage of this opportunity, because Merch by Amazon is giving you a free retirement. Everything that you don't need that you make from Merch by Amazon, I strongly suggest that you invest, and I strongly suggest that you invest it personally, whether that's in stocks or real estate. We've talked about that in a few past videos. I'll link to those down below. But you need to do something with this income. Do not just let it come in and go out. Don't go buy every new widget you see just because you have a few extra dollars. You have, for most people, between $200 to $2,000 a month now coming in, and everything that you don't need to survive should be invested so that at a later date in your life, you're financially set and you don't have to worry about money anymore. Let this opportunity truly set you free. Now, I personally look at stocks as my investment avenue because real estate locks up your money for a while and it doesn't create the liquidity that I would like to have, because stuff goes wrong every now and then. And should I decide to just liquidate all my stuff and pick up and go somewhere, I want to have that option. Or if I just choose that I don't agree with the company anymore and I don't want to be invested with that company, I don't want to be locked into a 15 to 30 year agreement with that company, or other situations like that. So stocks are where I personally go to, and what I look for with stocks are a lot like what I look for in Merch by Amazon as far as niches. So I look at companies that I know are going to be there for a while, companies that meet specific requirements like a balance sheet. They have to have a cash heavy balance sheet, and they need to be cash flowing. Well, I say need to be. Dropbox is one of those companies that I'm invested in right now, and they're not exactly cash flowing. They're close to it. Should happen this year, fingers crossed. But those are some of the requirements that I have. And it needs to be a long-term investment. Whenever I think of tying it back to the Merch by Amazon niches, long-term is the same way of saying like a year-round seller for Merch by Amazon. Long-term means that you do this, or you are invested in the long-term for this. It's not just a fad or a trend that's come up like Christmas or something like that. So whenever I'm looking at companies to invest in, they need to have a cash-heavy balance sheet. It'd be nice if they were cash flowing, or they're at least going to be close to it. They need to be popular, and those are the things that really helps me to decide if these are worth investing in. And right now I'm currently focused on growth stocks because I'm starting out in my investment journey, and growth stocks are where I'm going to get the most growth for my money. I do have a few value stocks in there that are more of a, I guess, conservative play. Things like Halliburton, things like Wendy's, or a few of those that are just going to be a constant. They're not going to be too affected by the market. And after about 10 years, they should be at least a 5 to 10% increase. But right now, I'm mostly focused on value stocks because those are the ones that are really going to lead to the 20 to 30% returns in the future. And I believe that you should focus on those as well. Again, I am not a financial advisor. This is just my personal opinion. I am not the one to look to for stock picking. I get a lot of my advice from Jeremy at Financial Education, Graham Stephan, and sometimes Meet Kevin. Those are all the YouTube channels that I look at, and I do a little bit of looking around on my own. But honestly, I defer to those guys, and most of what I've learned has come from them. So as far as stocks go, that's where I'm at right now. And whenever we look at growth stocks, going back a little bit, growth stocks for me are companies that are worth investing in. Growth stocks that are worth investing in are going to be companies that disrupt our lives. Amazon is one of those companies that heavily disrupted our lives. Tesla disrupted the automotive industry. Facebook just brought a whole new area of life to us in the form of social media, and they've just continued to be giants. Facebook is one of those I'm wanting to get back into. I sold out of Facebook at like 230 because it wasn't doing anything, and then now it's up to like 260 or something. So I missed a little bit of the boat, but I want to get back in on Facebook just because Facebook is continuing to disrupt our lives. Apple is another one of those. I'm filming this on an iPhone. And so I love those I'm looking for those companies that are going to be future disruptors in our lives. And I put my stocks right here so you can see what companies I'm invested in that I think are going to be those future disruptors. And in a later video, we'll talk about the companies that I'm looking at to invest in later. So growth companies are where I'm focused. Obviously, once I get later on in the investment career, I will probably pivot to a heavily dividend portfolio just so I can have that cash flow as well. And now, money doesn't come out, it only goes in whenever you are investing your Merch by Amazon money. You need to have the perspective that the money you're getting from Merch by Amazon basically doesn't exist. It's just going into a black hole. But in our situation, that black hole is probably going to spit out a few $1 million at the end of 15 to 20 years. And that's the goal. You don't need, if you're going to do stock purchasing, the downside with it being so liquid is that you can make a decision to pull that money out anytime you want. You have to resist that urge, and you have to leave that money and make those investments with a 10-year mindset. You're not going to touch this money for 10 to 15 years, and it's just going to stay there and grow. And that's why I only invest in companies that I know are going to be just on top of their game 10 to 15 years. Now, of course, there is stuff that happens. Carnival Cruise Line, they were going to be, the darling of the cruise industry for, God knows how long. But coronavirus, there are things like that that happen. And so, again, most people probably didn't sell out. The smart people didn't sell out of Carnival. Once they realized Carnival was going to make it through, they hopefully bought back in. Now, I bought in with Carnival at the bottom, and I'm probably going to continue to buy in until Carnival is on its way back up, because it's just one of those that's not going anywhere. So, anyway, those are most of the decisions of how I'm investing my money. So, it needs to be a growth stock, needs to meet the criteria of a solid balance sheet, cash flow would be preferable, and it needs to be a long-term company that is going to disrupt the future of the world. America is kind of the center of the world, but it needs to be a company that can influence the entire world. And money goes in, it does not come out in this situation. But anyway, I'm looking forward to making more videos on stocks and how my investing journey goes. Can't wait to see what you guys are doing as well. Please just drop a like and a comment below and subscribe for the journey. And I can't wait to see how fast some of you get to financial freedom with this Merch by Amazon opportunity. Remember, someone's going to do something great every day, guys. Why not you? See ya.